Hi there, Trailer Hitch listeners. Once again, I'm having some technical issues with my microphone, so I might sound a little bit different this week. I sincerely appreciate your patience.
I mean, I think you sound absolutely perfect, Kevin. Like
Oh,
always.
you flatter me. I'm blushing over here. I know you can't see it because we're still not recording in person, but I
Yeah.
do appreciate it.
Oh,
Um,
anytime, anytime.
well, actually, not anytime because we're actually about to take our hiatus pretty soon.
I'm sorry. What? A hiatus from Trailer Hitch? We would never, Kevin. We would never.
I know y'all can't see it. I did get a little bit of a visual of James before we started recording. As he made that joke, he was wearing a Hawaiian shirt, wearing sunglasses. He's got a drink out of a coconut. No, 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 don't be fooled by him. He knew goddamn well what was happening.
I got 1 foot out the door of this podcast episode already.
Oh,
No,
that's bad
as
news because we still got an hour.
we still got movies, trailers to talk about. But as Kevin said, we have been on the air, on the podcast airwaves for a long time, and we really don't take breaks, Kevin. Like maybe we have every once in a while, but
You might
we
think we're infatigable, but trust me, we're fatigued.
oh, I'm very fatigable. um, as people might be able to tell, depending on how long they listen to this episode today, we'll find out. But we're gonna take a month off and just like really recharge the old batteries. We got crazy schedules with our actual jobs that pay us money,
Mhm.
so a lot of attention needs to be gone into that. And I think it'll be a good opportunity to just like really reset the batteries. So I think it's a great idea, Kevin. Good job. Good job with coming up with that idea.
Thank you. Thank you. Sorry, my audio might not be so great because I'm now leaning back in a hammock as I'm just getting ready for this fucking June off. But before we take that June off, we do have a couple of trailers to talk about. We are going to be tuning up Jungle Cruise. I know it's still coming out. We are going to be doing our teaser trailer showroom for Marvel's The Eternals. We have an announcement to make about last night in Soho, and we're going to cap this all off with a trailer that best exemplifies how we all feel old. We're going to be talking about old tonight, but before we do all of that, here's this great theme song.
You can't haul your stuff without a trailer hitch. Trailer hitch.
Turn the lights, grab a seat, pour yourselves a whiskey neat. It's time to judge the shit out of these future releases by the movie trailers. We're Trailer Hitch. This movie might totally suck, but the whiskey sure is going down fine. Yeah, we're Trailer Hitch.
All right. Well, while James and I are waiting on our room service, let's give your room a service by giving you a great episode of Trailer Hitch. Hi, welcome. I'm Kevin.
Hi, welcome. I'm James.
This is Trailer Hitch. We rate and review movie trailers. We rate them on a scale of need to see more, or never need to see. If James and I both give a trailer a need to see rating, we celebrate. Then we go see the movie, report back to you guys in a segment called Trailer in the Rear View, in which we talk about the trailer in retrospect and then review the movie writ large. Nowadays, that is typically a shorter walk just to our couches instead of a theater, although those are starting to open back up again. Hopefully, by the time we get back from our hiatus, we can just see shit in movie theaters all the time. But regardless, whether we're seeing it in the theater or paying $20 to watch it on Amazon, that's kind of what our thought process is when it comes to our trailer reviews. Would this get us to pay full ticket price to see this, wherever that ticket may be? Now, James,
Yes.
I know we're excited for our hiatus, but we should probably start things off with the cruise, shouldn't we?
I mean, the best way to enjoy like rest and relaxation is to prime it with an adventure cruise. I've always said it. Clearly, Dwayne Johnson has agreed with me.
I've known you for so many years. I have never heard you bring this up, but that, you know what? No, that's good. I'm happy to hear that that is your ethos because, my man, after a full year, we got another Jungle Cruise trailer. We're going to be tuning this up. Let's talk about it.
My name is
Dr. Lily Houghton. My brother and I are looking for passage upriver.
What's out there in the jungle? It's not a fun vacation.
Well, I'm not here for a vacation.
Yeah, it's been a while since that last trailer, and the first things that went through my head about watching this new trailer, Kevin, was, is this just the same trailer from a year ago and they just re-released it? And that's not a testament to me saying it's identical. And I think there's a lot of aspects of this like action adventure movie that are going to be kind of samey when you like cut it in like a trailer montage.
I also think that is a testament to how long it's been since we've had a trailer for Jungle Cruise, where honestly, they probably could have done that and gotten away with it. They could have just called this a new thing, just saved a bunch of money on their end. But who are we kidding? It's Disney. They're going to spend every goddamn penny they have because they know they're going to make all the pennies in return. Now, this is a different trailer. I don't know how you felt about this, but I can definitely say that I was not really feeling this one. I was actually really interested because it starts off, I think, relatively decent. I thought initially, oh, okay, this is actually like really setting the stakes for what is happening with Jungle Cruise, like what the story is. And I was like, okay, yeah, like I feel like this is handling this pretty efficiently. And I had sent this in the email to you, man. I watched the trailer twice, and both times, I want to say about halfway through, my brain just stopped giving a shit. And I watched it 2 more times today, and once again, my brain stopped giving a shit, and I went, okay, I know there's got to be something else going on here. Why do I stop caring? And I think it's because for me, the editing in this trailer is really all over the place. Like, we'll show The Rock saying something on the boat, and then immediately cut to him being strangled by some fucking Captain Barnacles guy. I can't remember. Who's Jeffrey Rush's character in Pirates of the Caribbean?
Captain Barbossa.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's getting choked out by Captain Barbossa, and then we immediately hard cut to some other guy on a boat with an entirely different color temperature, just going, well, that seems like a bad time. And then we cut to the fucking ship, the Jungle Cruise, almost careening off of a waterfall. And yeah, like it felt like this was all over the place and it didn't really establish a natural flow or rhythm to it. And so, yeah, I think like by halfway through the trailer, every single time I would just kind of get fatigued.
I think that kind of goes in with how I was like comparing it and thinking it, feeling like maybe it feels a bit interchangeable with the other trailers. And I think I was pretty warm on the other trailers a year ago or over a year ago. But you're right. I think the more you see of it, the more I'm just going, I think this whole movie is just like, don't think about it, action adventure. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah, totally.
yeah, and there's nothing wrong with those kinds of movies. I love those kinds of movies. Those are great popcorn movies, right? I'm starting to realize I don't really buy Dwayne Johnson as like other characters outside of just like, oh, that's just The Rock. The Rock is in
Yeah.
another movie and he's just doing his rock thing, you know, which is fine. But it's like for a movie where he's just like kind of like a grungy river jungle cruise captain skipper.
Yeah,
It
kind of
just
like the
didn't.
seen it all before archetype. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it just kind of like doesn't feel like it fits. I don't know. I don't know. It's not really doing it for me either. If I'm being totally honest, it looks like it's just trying very hard to just be another Pirates of the Caribbean meets Indiana Jones. Yeah, it's that kind of vibe for me, which is odd because Jungle Cruise is always, not that you should compare like movie adaptations to the rides they're based off of, because they're rides. They're going to be 100% different because you need to shake things up and do something original. But the ride is just so pleasant and wholesome. So yeah, I don't know, the giant action set pieces just seem a little too big for what Jungle Cruise has always been in my brain. But who knows, maybe people said, the same thing about Pirates of the Caribbean when that first movie came out compared to the ride, and that first movie fucking slaps. I stand by the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie as just like one of the best adventure movies I've ever seen. It's so fun.
And listen, I agree. It is really hard to be like, well, if we're adapting a ride, because yeah, at the same, there really isn't like a core story or anything like that.
Right.
There's just kind of like a general mood and feel. But even then, like the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, I feel like is even more mellow than Jungle Cruise is. But yeah, when it comes to Jungle Cruise, it's like the only thing that I could really take away from it where okay, and this is how you would adapt it is probably taking the what is usually the dry humor of the skipper leading the cruise and then just kind of building off of that. And it's kind of interesting because The Rock's character kind of seems like a halfway point between he's The Rock and he's one of these skippers. It's like he's not quite committing fully to one or the other.
Oh, interesting.
And
Yeah.
I don't necessarily feel like he's like that. That means he's doing a bad job or anything like that. Like he looks like he'll be fine in this, but yeah, that's kind of why it's like, oh yeah, sometimes he kind of seems like he's like sort of dry or kind of sardonic, and then there are other points where it's that's The Rock. So it is kind of interesting, yeah. And I would say probably like the only major disappointment I've seen in all of the marketing is yeah the fact that like okay we have a villain that's just fucking Captain Barbossa, guys, come on. And if we're going to borrow heavily from another Disney movie that's also based on a ride, it's like okay that doesn't feel like a great sign to me. But again, I listen. I know I was a little bit colder than you on the previous trailers, but I would definitely say if you are going to watch a trailer, definitely seek out some of the older ones because I felt like those to me were at least entertaining. Whereas again, this trailer, because there really isn't too much of a visual flow, I tend to just get exhausted by this thing. So,
That's fair.
uh,
And well, in those other trailers actually had a hint of the cruise part of Jungle Cruise, which this trailer I feel
that's
like
fair.
they like from the first second of the trailer, it's just like action, adventure, action, 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 set pieces and Davy Jones squid looking people and Jesse Plemons just looking sinister, you know.
Yeah, had no idea he was in this. Okay.
Okay, Jesse Plemons with a mustache. I'm there for that. That's pretty cool. But yeah, okay, tune up time. So it's time to tune this up officially. Kevin, what say you?
My rating for this trailer is a never need to see.
I'm gonna be totally honest, and I want it to be higher. And I probably, like I said, I love a good action adventure movie. I think they're great popcorn flicks. I think I definitely see myself watching this movie. But this trailer just didn't do it for me, man. To make us wait over a year for another trailer and then to be so just kind of like lukewarm on it, that's just a big missed opportunity for me. So this is also a never need to see it for me, this trailer.
Man, I never thought I'd see the day where you would give like a Disney movie that you're really excited about a never need to see. But, you know, I mean, like, I know you have your love for that studio, but some things just can't be eternal. But you know what is eternal? Marvel Studios, specifically the Eternals, which we will be talking about in our teaser trailer showroom segment.
We have watched, unguided. We have helped them progress and seen them accomplish wonders. Throughout the years, we have never interfered until now.
All right, yes. So we have our teaser trailer for Marvel's The Eternals. The thing that I know about this going in, having not been too familiar with the source material, is that Chloe Zhao is directing this, who just won the Best Director Oscar and also won Best Picture for Nomadland this past year. She also directed a movie called The Writer, which I also thought was really good too. But James, do you know anything about the Eternals at all? Because again, because this is a teaser, I wasn't necessarily expecting to get like a full breadth of who they were. but I have abundantly little to go off of with this 2 minutes.
Well, Kevin, as our resident comic book expert on Trailer Hitch, I'm glad you asked because no, I've never heard of these characters ever.
Well, shit. This is going to be a very short segment then, won't it? At the very least, what we can say is that from a visual standpoint, this definitely has Chloe Zhao's fingerprints all over it. There are a lot of very pretty and sweeping shots of nature, which is kind of her bag. Uh, Chloe Zhao doing a loving, sweeping shot of dirt is the equivalent of Wes Anderson doing a perfectly symmetrical shot of someone who hates their dad. Like, it's just inseparable for that director. And I am a fan of Chloe Zhao's work. So, okay, cool. It definitely seems like they gave her free reign to shoot how she wanted to shoot her film. And then once we get past, like, the pretty cinematography, okay, well, who are our characters? We don't really know. Well, where are they? Well, there's this sort of idyllic society that's been untouched by outsiders who effectively have their own beautiful utopia. Okay, how's that different from Wakanda? It looks more rustic, shrug emoji. Who are the Eternals? Well, you don't really know. You kind of see Barry Coogan for a little bit, and you get a shot of Camille Nanjiani dancing, and then you have like a few other people, or they put their arms akimbo. They do shit like that. Yeah, outside of that, I really don't have much of an impression to take out of this. And bear in mind, if you have similar feelings or counter feelings, James, please give me, because there's so little for me to go off of with this thing.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it definitely belongs in the teaser trailer showroom, like you said. It's completely atmospheric. It doesn't waste time with like really introducing us or getting us to know these Eternals as characters. We just know them as a group, basically, and we see little, quick pops, quick takes of them on their own. But again, that doesn't really inform anything about their character at all. So
When you say we know them as a group, how well do we know them?
I meant in terms of the visual storytelling in this trailer, they
Mhm.
clearly show up on the planet Earth as a group.
Sure.
And so they're an
Okay.
ensemble. That's what I meant.
Yeah. We're just establishing that they're a collective. Sure.
Yes, correct. They're a collective, and which is good. I mean, it's good to establish that this is an ensemble movie, a lot like Guardians of the Galaxy, except not at all like Guardians of the Galaxy. But it is an ensemble movie,
Yeah,
right?
definitely less 70s pop ballads. Yeah.
Yeah. Like you said about Chloe Zhao's style, I think that really lends itself to setting the atmosphere of what kind of movie we're to be looking forward to here. This isn't going to be a big bombastic climactic event like Avengers Endgame, right?
Right.
It's going to be something different. And am I into it? Not necessarily yet, but I am interested. I'm like, this is kind of a different swing for Marvel, and I'm interested. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very conflict averse right now. Like at this point, and that is sort of interesting to me for a Marvel teaser to not really have action at all, one, and then two, to also not really establish any sort of threat. It is interesting in that regard, and you're correct. That is unique to Marvel, and certainly I don't think anything I was expecting.
It has piqued my interest because it is so different, and especially coming off the back of the trailer for Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. They're very different, and Shang-Chi is definitely like quintessential Marvel trailer, right?
Mhm.
And you have like a comedic relief character say a goofy line here, you have an action scene there, you got some fight choreography over here, some character exposition over here, and
Kevin
then
Feige is nodding furiously next to his whiteboard right now. Yes.
Yeah, Kevin Feige's like, crap, they cracked my code. But yeah, I
How
just
could they? They only had 26 points of data to look at, and I haven't changed a thing.
until Eternals. So yeah, I it coming off of like the comparison with Shang-Chi, I think this is an interesting comparison, and I find it interesting. So teaser
Sure.
showroom, color me teased. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And now that you say that, now putting it directly in comparison to Shang-Chi, I feel like that makes it an interesting question. Would you rather watch Shang-Chi or would you rather watch Eternals? And I think right now, like, listen, if you gave me like the Pepsi Coke test of I don't know who's directing either movie and you remove Chloe Zhao's name from it, I'd probably say Shang-Chi right now because I feel like, oh, Aquafina's funny. I mean, like, I don't really feel like she had the opportunity to really flex her comedic muscles in the one trailer that we've seen, but
Yeah.
she's generally pretty funny. Whereas, like, yeah, I mean, like, the button for the Eternals, kind of similarly to Shang-Chi, is also kind of a.
It's interesting because you can tell. I think with the Aquafina one in Shang-Chi, you could tell they like paused for a big laugh, like thinking this will be hilarious. With the Eternals button where they're talking about like, oh, who's going to lead the Avengers now that Captain Rogers is out, right? And
Mhm.
Tony Stark is no longer abound. They're so like just calm and like familial around their dinner table that I never saw it trying to play as a laugh out loud moment like Aquafina's was, where Aquafina's I could tell they wanted me to laugh out loud and I didn't. This one I feel like it was intended to be more understated. Does that make sense?
I appreciate what you're saying, and I do think you make a good point. But I think part of the with the Eternals for me comes from the fact that we are watching them bond, but they're bonding about something outside of themselves, right? They're bonding about the Avengers, which it's like, okay, cool, but I'm not watching the Avengers right now. I'm watching the Eternals, and I'm trying to get a flavor for who you guys are.
Yep.
And I appreciate the fact Marvel's got to Marvel. We got to tie this shit into all of the other shit we've made. Have you seen Kevin Feige's whiteboard? But at the same time, especially for a teaser, and especially as someone who's not familiar with the source material, yeah, I just think it would be good to like kind of establish them first, and then you can give me how it ties into everything else after the fact.
That's fair. But because it is Marvel and it does have to tie into everything, Kevin, I am curious of your gut instinct, real quick theory. Why didn't the Eternals help with Thanos?
They were just too busy petting dirt. That's all I see them really doing here. They're petting dirt. They're having a good time. Clearly, they are on the luckiest part of the planet imaginable because that means that no one else got dusted during the snap. And they probably had no idea anything was wrong. They were too busy growing plants and smiling lovingly at nature.
Yeah,
What's your
yeah.
theory?
Well, my theory is one that literally all of them got snapped out of existence, which is just hilarious to me.
That's also, yeah, it is a one or the other, for sure.
Because usually it's like Hawkeye's whole family, just not him. Like it's one of this group and then three of that group. It's like the Eternals, nah, they're all gone. Get them all out of here. So
That makes sense.
it's either that or they all got stoned and just kept watching Nomadland on repeat, and that's another option.
Look at how beautiful the nature is in that. Don't you just want to pet it and make things grow on it? Okay. Well, that about does it for the Eternals. Okay, now let's move on to Last Night in Soho. Or will we move on to Last Night in Soho? So here's the announcement we wanted to make about that. Yes, a teaser for the new Edgar Wright film, Last Night in Soho, came out within the past couple of weeks. Now, normally this is something that James and I would jump on immediately. However, we are going to be using Last Night in Soho for our high beam, low beam segment. Now, for those who don't remember, we've only done the segment once, and I believe that was sometime either earlier this year or late last year.
It was
But
late last year, but
okay,
we finally watched the movie in 2020, I believe. Or wait,
sure.
20.
2021.
Oh yeah, man, my years are running together now.
Well, I mean, again, we've all been inside for over a year. I get
Mhm.
it, dude. Don't worry about it. Plus, we're going on hiatus soon. Don't you worry about it. Like, you just keep sipping your coconut and don't you worry about a thing. Yes, so we've done high beam, low beam once before. Basically, the idea behind this is James and I split off, where one of us watches all the marketing for a film while the other deliberately avoids it. And then we eventually see the movie, review the movie, and then we kind of let the person who hasn't seen any of the marketing kind of piece together, oh, okay, what was in the trailers, what wasn't. And basically, we wanted to introduce it because there are so many people who are anti trailer who are like, if you watch a trailer, it ruins the movie. And we kind of wanted to do high beam, low beam as a way to kind of test that theory. Does it actually? And we've kind of been waiting for the perfect opportunity to do this for something where it was like, okay, we both know we're going to see this regardless of the trailers. And that happened to be Last Night in Soho. But again, it's one of those things where this is a pretty big trailer. And we know you guys are probably coming to us for a review of some kind. So, James, you want to give people just like a little taste of what they got?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay, no, hang on. Okay, nope, I got it in. All right, hi, trailer hitchers. This is Kevin coming in from the future. It is currently October of 2021. So James was going to review the trailer for you here, but we kind of ended up realizing that, if he did review the trailer, that would kind of defeat the whole purpose of this high beam, low beam thing. So I'm just coming in to stop that from happening. Kevin, editing this right now. Really sorry I'm fucking up your audio. Just be mad at yourself because it's you doing this. But I understand if you're listening, you probably want something to go here, if not a trailer review. So, James, why don't you tell them what is in store for them in the future in October of 2021? What happens in the next few months?
well, definitely look out for the birds
Oh,
in
God.
yeah, it's and you'd think they'd be coming from above from the sky.
Mm-mm.
No, they're coming from the ocean, you guys, and I don't even want to get into how because scientists have not even figured it out yet where these birds from the ocean are coming from.
Did you read the CNN article about how they're starting to figure out how to use shovels? If they come out from out of the ground, we're fucked.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it all started with us realizing that octopuses or octopi
Hmm.
are actually probably alien
We
species.
made it a point to confront them sometime in like July of 2021. Probably shouldn't have. We probably could have just let them live and let live. But no, we had to ask, like, hey, what's the meaning of life? And boy, they had some choice birds for us.
It really opened the floodgates into seeing what they were hiding in the depths from humanity. But you know what? We're doing okay. We're still alive enough to
Mhm.
travel back in time, so that's nice.
Listen, we've already said too much. We should let you guys have some surprises for 2021, and we should let Kevin have his surprises for Last Night in Soho. Well, me, I should have my surprises, but I've already seen the movie. It's October, baby. Anyway, everybody, stay safe. Once again, watch out for birds. Ooh, okay, all right. I feel like you've already said too much, but all right. Well, I appreciate you giving us a little bit of something for Last Night in Soho, my man.
Yes, this will be an interesting experiment, and I like the way things went with One Cut of the Dead. So it's going to be tricky for you to stay away from marketing stuff, though, Kevin. Are you up to the challenge?
I'm like pretty good at not watching TV. Like
Okay.
I got a bunch of streaming services, and I feel like as long as they don't advertise during football, that's like really the only thing I watch live nowadays. So
That's a good
yeah,
point. Yeah.
that should be fine. That should be
Okay.
fine.
All right.
Yeah, because if anything, like at this point now, like I mostly avoid like staying up to watch TV because I'm getting so old. Which speaking of old, you know what we got coming up, James? It's old.
He did it again. He did it again. Oh my god, it's so funny.
Yeah, me doing really long lead-ins is never going to get old.
What a twist.
What happened to her, Mom?
I don't know.
What happened to her?
Body has decomposed.
How quickly can that happen?
7 years.
But she just died.
Wait, where are the kids?
Trent!
Kara!
Come here!
Hey, have you seen my children?
Mom? I'm right here.
Dad, why are you looking at me like that?
All right, everybody, finish slamming your Insure because this is old. This is directed by M. Night Shyamalan, written by him as well. This is starring Gael Garcia Bernal, Vicky Creeps, Aaron Pierre, Thomason McKenzie, Alex Wolff, our random shout out, because we here at Trailer Hitch like to give random shout outs because the top billed people tend to hog all the credit. So we would like to shout out Mauricio Adrian, who was the stand-in for Gael Garcia Bernal. Hey, Mauricio. First of all, amazing job. Second of all, genuine question. Did they have to age you too, or did you get to skip the makeup thing? So yes, this is old. What is happening here? So we start off with a family. They're about to go on vacation, not unlike James and I are about to go on ours. And there's something particular, though. Gael Garcia Bernal is looking at a pamphlet, and he goes, it says there are no kids allowed on this beach. But, fuck that pamphlet. They're taking the kids. So they drive off, and the mom of the family makes it a point to say that they found this beach online. Presumably, she doesn't mention that she wrote murder before beach in Google, because they start to find shit on this beach, you guys. They start to find dermatitis from a hotel, and while playing a game of hide and seek, the dead body ends up losing because they find this dead body of a woman. And then it gets even crazier because that dead body ends up completely decomposing, which is something that should take about 7 years to do. But presumably this happens over the course of however long it takes to throw a blanket over a dead woman. Now, in this moment, when they see this corpse, they go, wait, where are our kids? And suddenly the kids are not kids. One of them was actually in Hereditary. Shout out to Alex Wolff here. And we end up seeing these teenagers come up. And I'd really like to time out my piss take of a synopsis to really give kudos to the editing here, because it does make it really clear, really efficiently, that, hey, these teenagers who just came out are their kids. And I think that the quick cutting they do here establishes it really well. But the worst is yet to come, because now these kids have grown up. They found this dead body that decomposed. But the worst is here, James, because you know what happens? Gael Garcia Bernal gets wrinkles. Perish the fucking thought, am I right? We get some crazy shit where one of the teenagers ends up getting pregnant, presumably just because that's the circle of life on this beach. We do get a little bit where people are trying to genuinely leave, but they end up blacking out when they do, implying that there's something kind of mysterious and to a degree spectral about this beach. They find coded messages. They get an inkling that something bigger is happening. At the end of the trailer, we do have Alex Wolff and his sister looking off camera, holding a match, and something spooks him off camera. And that is our trailer for Old. James, tell me, what do you think?
I do like the shots that M. Night Shyamalan takes, right? And this is a swing. This is it's different. it's out there. It's not like I've seen every single M. Night Shyamalan movie, but I'm always interested to see like what he's up to, and I always check out the marketing at the very least, right? So, like most of the world, we all started to get a little bit burnt out on M. Night Shyamalan stuff around the time that The Village came out, I want to say, or Lady in the Water.
I think The Village came prior to, and that's when I started to hear people going, hey, fuck that M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Right.
Up until that point, his movies have been pretty lauded.
Yeah, it was like he had entered into like a meme status all of a sudden. And no one really knew like how it happened. So he's had quite a journey trying to like break out of that mold. And he's He's had some other films that I'm like, this doesn't even look that interesting to me. But the one that really caught my attention was a found footage movie, and I'm blanking on the
The
name.
Visit.
The Visit. All of this is to say that I respect the types of stuff he tries. And when I watched the trailer for Old, I think there's a lot to respect here in terms of the concept. Definitely has me guessing. It has me like wondering, like how does this work? Like what is actually happening here? But you're right, Kevin. There are moments of the trailer that like really take you out of it because it's just like, well, that was intended to be dramatic, but it's just silly. Like you have wrinkles. Like it's just maybe it's just the delivery that I don't like, but
I think for me, the wrinkles thing kind of scanned as silly because we kicked this shit off with a corpse. I mean, yeah, sure, we got some broken sunglasses in the goddamn sand, but I mean, no, we start off pretty quick with like a fucking corpse, and then that corpse decomposes immediately, and then immediately after that, within the context of this trailer, we have like something like truly batshit and like yes, interesting, but also to a degree kind of unsettling, which is the kids rapidly age.
yeah.
And like, yeah, like those are really cool moments. And like, I do feel like it is upping its stakes really well through the beginning of this trailer. And then how do we keep upping that? Oh my God, Gail Garcia Bernal has a wrinkle or two. It
Yeah,
just
you're
doesn't
right.
really have the same punch, you know?
It's, you know what? I take it back. It's not the delivery. It's just that the order in which things happen in the trailer. You start up here and then you like drag the intensity of like the wonder of what's happening way down to like you should have done the wrinkle thing first, right?
Yeah, I was about to say, like, and bear in mind, I understand from the perspective of this trailer, and I'm just making sure our trailer editor, wherever you are out there, I hope you don't feel bummed, because it wouldn't surprise me if, within the context of the movie, that's how they ordered it, and that's why they went the way they did. But yeah, I 100% agree, man. I feel like your order of operations is you find some fucking sunglasses in the sand, and then, oh shit, man, you're getting some wrinkles. Guess you're just not enjoying vacation that much. Har, har, har. And then you find the corpse, and then that decomposes, and then the kids rapidly age. And then you look at your own wrinkles and go, wait a fucking minute. And you go from there. Yeah.
Wait a fucking minute. This island's really stressing me out. That must be what the wrinkle is from.
Yeah, it's just from like the stress of this. I'm sure if I just get some cream, this will all be fine.
Yeah, but I don't know. There isn't really a whole lot else to say about it because it does leaves you with that. It's like, okay, what's gonna happen? Or how is this even happening? Are the questions.
Well, and what I give the trailer credit for is I am intrigued. I do feel like I understand, like, I'm glad that they kept in the trailer that okay, there is a reason why they can't leave, because like the second the corpse shows up, I'm like, I don't care if you found this online, mom. Like, we got to get the fuck out of here. There is a dead body. Like, you got to get out of there before it even decomposes.
Right.
But I do appreciate the fact that they're like, okay, like we'll say like, no, they can't leave the island, and I appreciate that. It is pretty easy at this point. It's just, oh, yeah, they just fucking black out, and then they come to you and they're still on the beach. Fucking bada bing, bada boom. What you gonna do about it? And I'm sure there will be like at least a little bit more dived into like why they can't leave and like why they're blacking out and stuff.
Nah,
It's
probably
like,
not though, right?
but like I'm very intrigued by the premise, but then like, yeah, it does. It hits a point where the trailer keeps going. And I wouldn't say this gives away too much. Like, I definitely did not walk away from the old trailer feeling like I had a solid guess for what the end of this movie would be. But at the same time, I do feel like it is starting to throw out answers to things that I didn't necessarily need. Like the coded message and there's something out, there's a reason that we were brought to this beach isn't necessarily something that I needed for this trailer. And I felt like throwing that in there made me start to ask questions that the trailer reasonably couldn't answer because it's only 2.5 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, I like from a visual standpoint, I think that this looks good. You know what I mean? I do like Shyamalan's finding like really odd and off-kilter angles just to keep what effectively looks like this entire movie is just going to be taking place on one goddamn beach. And he's finding ways to make this very pleasant environment feel unsettling. And I think that comes through in the trailer. And I do like how slow the movement is of the dead body creeping up to the kid as he's playing hide and seek, and I felt like the tension there was really good. And so I definitely don't think that this is a bad trailer. I definitely think that there are some things that we can giggle at. But I mean, fuck, even in the context of other M. Night Shyamalan movies, I think you could do far worse than this.
Yeah, definitely has me intrigued. And it's on a small enough scale, too, that I'm like, you can clearly all the resources went into the wrinkle makeup, which is clearly a big aspect. But just the craft of shooting this thing and making sure like the story is strong, because it looks like it's just like one location and just like these small amount of actors, right? There's probably like 6 to 9 actors, I think, in it.
Yeah, it felt like the number fluctuated as the trailer went on. And initially, it just felt like our initial family, like our POV family. And then, oh, yeah, there's just like a couple other random people on the beach. And then, like, yeah, suddenly you get like a long shot of the beach, and it's like, man, there's like at least a fucking baseball team's worth of them on this beach. Where did they all come from? So, yeah, I think you're right. But at the same time, yeah, I kind of ended up losing track of that.
Yeah. No, anyway,
Um,
I liked the smaller scale of it, but also it asks big questions. So, yeah, I think it's interesting.
You know who I would be really intrigued to hear from regarding this trailer? I would love to hear from a parent of someone who has a kid that's like maybe like teenage years. Because I feel like that's kind of where this shit comes from, right? Like M. Night Shyamalan, I know, is a parent. And that's really looking at this trailer. It's like, oh yeah, all of a sudden you blink and suddenly you're old and suddenly your kids are way older. And oh my god, now all of a sudden your kid is having a kid, and isn't this fucking horrifying? Like, I kind of got the impression watching this trailer that this was, I think, kind of geared toward like a very specific type of parent where you're like, hey, yeah, you suddenly blink and a lot of time passes, and that suddenly reminds you of your own mortality. And it's one of those things where obviously, like, as far as I know, I don't have a kid. And like, as far as I know about James, he doesn't have a kid either. And so, like, I think I think it'd be really interesting to hear from someone who, like, has kids who are kind of older and have probably had that experience of, oh, holy shit, like all of a sudden, like my kid just like grew up right in front of me. I'm way older now. And like if the psychological thriller aspects hit harder for them because of that.
Yeah, I think I didn't even think about that, but yeah, it would be very interesting to talk to someone about this trailer who has children or who has kids on the older side now too, and they've gone through some of that life experience of feeling like blink and 10 years have gone by. But yeah.
Well, if you're a parent, write in. But before you do, you should hear our ratings on this. I'm going to go ahead and give this a need to see more. I think that there's a lot of really solid material here. Yeah, like some of it does unfortunately come across a little goofier than I would like. And I do feel like, especially toward the end, it started to answer questions that I, as a viewer, wasn't even asking, which then just led to more questions for me. But overall, I think that there's a lot of really decent stuff in this. But how about you?
Yeah, man. If I would have told past James that he'd be more interested in seeing an M. Night Shyamalan movie over Jungle Cruise, he would not have believed him. But yeah, this is a need to see more for me. So I think there's an exact amount here to keep me interested and keep me intrigued. While it's not perfect, it definitely is like, yeah, man, this would be, I feel like this could be money well spent to go see this movie, but I'd like to see more first. So there you go.
Yeah, 100%, man. Okay. Well, hey, listen, whether you're a parent or not, what did you think of the old trailer? You can write into us and let us know. If you want to hit us up at trailerhitchmailbox@gmail.com, you can go ahead, write us an email, let us know what your thoughts are. Or if you want to send us something on Facebook, just search Trailer Hitch Podcast on Facebook. You should find us there. Otherwise, if you want to keep that missive short, say 280 characters short, you can do that on Twitter at Trailer Hitch Pod. Or you can hit us up on Instagram at Trailer Hitch Podcast. You can send us a picture. Oh, by the way, James, this is something that I wanted to bring up. I was talking to a friend about podcasts, and he always said, yeah, once you get to the end of an episode of a podcast and people start to list off socials and like their thank yous and stuff, I start to tune out because like I'm a loyal listener, so I just know when I can stop listening. But I want people to know that they're welcome to write in whenever they want. I also want them to pay attention to the names of some of our end credits here because I do think that the work that they put in is worth noting. So if you can do me a favor, if you can, after each name I read off, give me like a fun fact or a joke. It can be about Charmed. It can just be you going through M. Night Shyamalan's filmography, whatever you feel like doing. If you could give me a little something in between each name just to keep people on their toes, I'd really appreciate it. Okay, so before we go, we would like to thank Danny Schmitz from Lost in a Name. Hey, James, tell me a fun Charmed fact.
Alyssa Milano is in it, and she's her that actress Peter Quill names his ship in Guardians of the Galaxy the Milano after her. Not so much a Charmed fact, but
it is a charming fact. Thank you, James.
You're welcome.
All right, let's see. So we got Danny Schmitz from Lost in a Name. We would also like to thank Rachel Ashley, who does all of our amazing cover art. You can see her works on Mighty Creations on Instagram. Hey, James, what's one interesting thing you would like us to know about art?
Art. Well, art is completely subjective, so don't be such an asshole about it.
That's good advice. I think everyone can take something from that. We would also like to thank Jenny Hawks, our bad movie and social media correspondent, for her sterling work week in and week out. Hey, James, what's your favorite bad movie experience?
Money Plane, easily.
Oh, okay. Very cool, very cool. And we would like to thank Casey Clowers for the amazing outro, which you will hear momentarily. Unless James has one more fun fact to add.
No, I'm ready. I am about to go on a month hiatus, so I need to get in vacation mode. So you know what that means, Kevin? That means Barb and Star go to Vista Del Mar every other night.
We're gonna get those treasure bowls, baby.
Just get my culottes on and a drink in hand, and we're gonna do it.
All right. Yes, indeed. We are going to be on our hiatus. While we're gone, you should definitely take a listen to such podcasts as Lost on Lost or Nerd Soup. You'll be hearing more about those podcasts in a little bit, by the way. And hey, everybody, thank you. Please feel free to write into us, whether it be trailers you want us to talk about or catch up on. Like, if there's something that comes out at the top of June that you're like, fuck, I want Trailer Hitch to talk about this, write into us, let us know. We'll kind of have a little backlog and we'll kind of do like a catch up once we hit July when we come back.
We'll be back on July 12th.
July 12th, yes, that will be our first episode back.
Goodbye.
Bye. All right, pass me that coconut, James.
You can't mend holy sails without a sailor stitch, and you can't haul your stuff without a trailer hitch. Trailer hitch.
Yeah, me doing really long lead-ins is never going to get old.
What a twist. Did you get it?
No, I don't get it. Why don't you explain to me in the context of an M. Night Shyamalan film what a twist is, James?
I don't even know if this is part of the show now or not.
It is and it isn't. Who's ready for a hiatus, baby?
Oh, yeah.